So I've been hearing these rumors all over the place about giants that got burned alive in a cave in northern Nevada. I've been wanting to come here for a lot of years. This is supposedly one of the areas that the Native Americans waged war on these red-headed giants up to 7 feet tall and burned them alive in this very cave behind me. So we're going to go ahead and explore it for ourselves, see if whether or not we think the story's true, figure out who these giants were, who hated them, what made them decide to live out here, and just do a lot of investigating for ourselves. This one should be super interesting. I've been wanting to come here for a lot of years. Finally made it around to it, and let's start looking. I think it's important to understand the history behind this entire story. So we actually stopped at one of the local museums, met a subject matter expert, somebody who's been studying this and is really passionate about the whole story behind this mysterious cave.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I am the director of the Pershing County Museum, and this is our display for the Lovelock Cave.
So do you think a giant actually uses...
Very possibly. That's a grinding stone. Feel how heavy that sucker is.
Yeah, pick it up. She's holding it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's not the normal size grinding stones that they find all over.
Yeah.
These are bigger grinding stones. Yeah. So the valley used to be a lake. It used to be part of Lake Lahontan. The cave they used predominantly as a storage area, and they would dig giant pits, line it with tule plants, and they would put their stuff in it so they could go back for the different seasons depending on what they were doing, which is why the oldest duck decoys ever found in the world were found in that cave, and that's photographs of it. I have not seen one. They are in the Smithsonian trying to get some back to the state of Nevada. These duck decoys have now been carbon dated. They are over about 2,400 years old. So look at the way they're woven.
So the feathers were preserved and everything.
Yes, the feathers were preserved.
So real feathers, but this is...
It's tule
it's a tule.
It's like a reed.
It's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And they're cut off at the end.
It's impressive. Really impressive.
That's the way they were found in the cave, buried in the basket underground.
So that's how they found them.
That's how they found the duck decoys.
Wow.
There were 2 digs done. The first one was done in 1911 by this gentleman, Mr. Loud, and he was actually a security guard for Berkeley. They did not have any archaeologists available. He wrote to Berkeley and said that one of the locals had told him the story of the giants, and Berkeley's response was, oh, they must have found some skeletons and came up with a story. So that's the first time I have been able to find in writing where the archaeologists are denying the story of the giants.
Oh, okay.
Of the redheads, the Sitaka. I've been doing a lot of research on it. They were probably cannibalistic. They would hide traps in the trails, and then they could take the bodies. So the story I was told was the Paiutes had a long war with the redheads, and they couldn't beat them. Other tribes had problems, so they pulled together, had a 3-year war with them where they got their numbers down. The redheads were able to sneak off and run into the cave. So the Paiutes surrounded the cave, started gathering sagebrush. Well, they lit it on fire. Anybody that ran out, their best warrior shot and killed, and they continued to let it burn until they knew nobody could survive.
So where can people find more information about you?
I have a TikTok that does my ghost stuff. I post all of the ghost stuff that happens in the Marsden house.
See, we don't do ghosts, we just history.
I do both. I do both.
Yeah, I don't do ghosts.
You're just terrified of ghosts. Yeah. Lovelock. All right, so we just left the museum.
Time to head over to the cave where it all supposedly happened. I guess it's a real popular spot, so we're gonna go check it out for ourselves and, you know, see if we can find some interesting stuff.
Traveling about 10 minutes, we finally hit dirt road. We shouldn't be too far from the spot now. As far as road goes, you could probably make it out here in a Prius. You know, you don't need anything special out here. This is amazing, knowing that everything we talked about happened right here.
All right, we're now at the Lovelock Caves. This is right here where the trail starts. They call it the natural trail loop. I guess it's the path that they set to go all the way up and around to the caves. So this kind of shows, I guess, what they thought it looked like back in the day, a couple thousand years ago when people were living here. You can see the caves way up here where people were placing the stuff that they were intending to store. So they're using the cave as a storage system to keep stuff from rotting and to just preserve for long-term use, food and everything. This big desert flats is where the ancient Lake Lahontan used to be. You can see right here that they believed the water's edge came all the way just to the base of these mountains. So this was one of the biggest lakes in the entire world at the time, and it was just unbelievably large. So it's kind of cool. To think that, you know, they weren't out here in the barren deserts like we see right now. They actually had like a little paradise, water and food and fish and lots of animals.
Easy trail.
Yeah, it's easy trail. What if you were walking through just like the natives? You've been living out here, and out of nowhere, this big red-haired giant comes and starts trying to grab your kids. It's so crazy to think that that was happening right here, though. We're right at the place. There used to be a massive lake right here, and there were red-haired giants.
She said they were setting out traps for the natives.
Yeah, so they try to trap them and capture them and eat them. Now, there's some theories that they might have been Vikings, because there's a lot of people who believe that the Vikings found the Americas before like Christopher Columbus did and stuff, which would make sense. Maybe they migrated their way over here and were living along these areas. But the Vikings, if you know anything about their culture, they're really known to be raiders. So they'd run into villages, kill a lot of people, steal food, steal resources and gold and stuff. So out in these areas, who's to say that a 6 foot something to 7 foot man that's white skin, red hair, if he couldn't catch food and he's used to their culture's raiding, maybe if he got hungry enough, he just started eating the humans. Because at that time, they're saying the Paiutes were only about 5 foot tall, at most 5'5". So the Viking culture too, when you read about them, they say that, you know how everyone has the belief that Vikings were like strong people and stuff back in the day. Well, if you look at the Viking diet over in Europe, it was all meat and milk. They didn't really grow food because they were from a very cold climate. So if they're not good farmers, if they're not very good hunters, and they were used to like farming cattle and stuff like that, then they might have got desperate. You know, they might have got desperate, got hungry, saw a 5 foot human running around and said, he's my food, you know?
All right, watch where you're going. There's a cliff right here. It got really steep and crazy.
No, it's not that crazy.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a cliff, but it ain't like we've hunted worse.
It is kind of like a natural formation. Like, I wouldn't doubt thousands of years of people using this kind of eroded a trail that the natives would have used, you know? Because if the cave's right here, this is the best path up and down that they would have used.
All right, so it went from an easy to a moderate. It's pretty steep, and we're about halfway up.
These trails, that's not just gonna happen on its own. This happened over thousands of years of people using this area. We were reading that this is the one.
Oh, that cold air coming.
Yeah, this is the one that the natives use the most. So there's an entrance up there, but this is the one, since it's the first way in. They would just walk right up on this trail and right in through here. You farted in there or what?
Got a whiff.
Come walk through.
Unfresh air coming through here.
So
But the air coming through here is cold.
yeah, so they're saying that it's pretty popular to sit right here because there's a nice cold breeze that comes through.
Oh man,
There might still be artifacts in here.
this is amazing.
No joke.
30, 40 feet down there. If you climb down there, it looks like a flat area down there.
So this.
Oh, we'll sign in right now.
So the original people to find this, re-find it. So what I believe happened is they say when the natives burned those giants to death in this cave, they believed it was cursed. So what they did is they permanently blockaded it. They didn't want nobody else to ever go into this area. They blocked it off. They didn't want people going. But sure enough, you know, people looking for bat guano at the time, which was good fertilizer, they went in here, broke through a little barricade, probably dug a little bit in here, and started finding just crazy remains. Hey Roman, we're entering the cave. What do you think?
So right when I entered the cave, I noticed these burnt marks.
Oh yeah, so the story is that they burned them alive in here.
It looks like you just touch it and it goes on you, but it doesn't.
How did they burn them alive though? They just threw bushes in here. So the Native Americans piled this entrance full of sagebrush back in the day, and they started burning the giants in here. It almost looks like the natives probably put these stones here a long time ago as a stairway. Almost makes a natural stairway. But you can see right here the proof that this place was burned at one point because they wanted to get rid of them, so they literally smoked them out. Jeez, there's burn marks everywhere. It's kind of weird that they look sticky in a way, but maybe, you know, it's just preserved for a long time. They built a pretty nice platform here. Oh yeah, there's still bats coming in here or something. Imagine you're only about 5 foot to 5'5", and there's 6, 7 foot giants in here. Are you gonna crawl in here after them?
Nope.
Exactly.
So this is where the giants live, right?
No, this is where they hid. So when they finally killed off a lot of the giants, the remaining ones, they gathered up all the local tribes and were chasing them, and they ran in here and hid in this very cave right here, trying to, you know, hide in here, hoping that they won't get killed, and they just burned them out.
They burned them?
Yeah. There's smoke marks everywhere. It's very, very trippy thought to just think that, you know, in this cave is where the end of a 3-year war had happened between the Paiute Indians and probably, you know, surrounding villages and tribes and the red-haired giants. This was the finishing point. The last of the red-haired giants held up in this cave, hoping that they were safe, you know, trying to hide and defend themselves from the Paiute Indians and, you know, like I said, surrounding tribes. The natives probably didn't want to run in here and try to pull them out by hand, of course. We're talking real big humans. They just decided to burn them out, smoke them out. They don't want to leave. You know what? We're going to set big fire to it, and you guys aren't going to make it out alive, unfortunately. Or for them, probably fortunately, they were thinking. Because, you know, if you got people out there cannibalizing you and eating you like food, you don't want that to happen. So, you know, they probably were pretty happy the day they finally got rid of that threat around here. One thing that I'm real curious about in here is I'm almost thinking like there's no way that they found everything. It has been a long time ago, so there's a good chance they found a majority of it. But with all these rocks and boulders and stones and stuff, I bet you that there's still more evidence in this cave somewhere. But the archaeologists I know did a really good job in here, and they probably excavated almost all of it. But in my mind, there's no way you could ever find it all. Like, who's to say in a spot like that right there? No, I find that very interesting, because that looks like organic material right there. And I do know that the Native Americans were storing food down here, and that they would wrap a lot of stuff in organic material. So there's not really a way for organic material to grow inside of this cave. So right there, I'm seeing organic material piled up and stored under this massive boulder. So if I'm an archaeologist or I'm somebody out here looking for evidence, you know, obviously that's somewhere that I'd focus my efforts and attention on. It almost looks like they've dug in there already a little bit and probably found something, because they dug under there and obviously were looking in there. But there's still what looks like tons and tons of organic material. This cave goes quite a ways back here. It's really dusty though, so you want to kind of walk through here slowly, because all that dust gets kicked up and it makes this cave real dusty. Look down, look down. I'm blinding you with the light. Yeah, it's all dusty.
Oh, I thought you found something.
Imagine being in here with people that want to kill you and they start setting a fire out there. I mean, if you've been eating them, I mean, you got to expect it's coming sooner or later, but...
Yeah. But also imagine you got a nice fire right there, you got elk on there, you're eating, it's a good spot to eat.
Oh yeah. Drew, so what do you think? Is it real or not? What's ahead?
I think it's definitely real. I don't see why not. I think all the evidence and everything and storylines behind it, the artifacts, I think it's real. The cave, I mean, look at this.
So do you think that there's any way that they found everything out of this cave? There's gotta be something.
There has to be at least one or two, maybe a few things that are buried under rocks or something, because there's still a lot of cracks and crevices in here that don't look 100% explored.
Yeah. I mean, it's also hard to deny the evidence with like the burn marks, huh?
Yeah. Again, these pile of rocks, I wouldn't doubt if there's stuff
Oh yeah.
under here.
Probably stuff back there. Oh yeah.
One of the giants.
Uh-oh, we found one.
It's very cool air coming right here. Very nice.
You guys saw some bats down there?
Yeah, there's a little bat. It's like this big.
We just found a bat. That's the whole reason that they found this whole place right there sleeping. I walked right by him.
Roman, they said visit the cave, not become one with it. The heck?
Man, I was just climbing up there trying to do different thumbnail ideas. There's a bat sitting in there. Oh man, I'm all dusty now. This was a lot of fun exploring this cave. I've been excited to come out here for a lot of years now. Finally got around to doing it, and it's worth the travel. You know, if you're into history and just like to kind of reminisce and think about the idea of what happened and stuff like that, highly recommend a visit. You can still kind of see water out there, huh?
Yeah.
Remnants of the ancient Lake Lahontan. So what's wild is this lake was unbelievably big for its time. They think the water level when they did this and killed the giants in here was just right here somewhere close. So literally, that means standing here, we would see a lake that goes from here all the way to these mountains across us, and as far as the eye can see in both ways, because this lake was unbelievably large and it sustained a lot of life back then. Yeah, and one of my ultimate goals, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it this trip or not, is I want to catch a Lahontan cutthroat trout. Now if you guys don't know what that is, it was a native cutthroat species to the Great Lahontan Lake, and they're still in existence today, believe it or not. So the same fish that they were catching thousands of years ago, they once thought was extinct, they refound it, put it back in that lake where it naturally is from, and you can still catch them to this day. So wouldn't that be real cool to go catch one of those fish?
How big do they get?
I think I heard rumors that they get up to 60 pounds back in the day. Not anymore, but they haven't been out very long. So maybe we'll get a 60 pounder again one day. But 20 pounds easy. Beautiful area in Nevada. It's my first time up here. Been wanting to come here for a very long time. Finally made it up. It's worth the stop. Stop at the museum, stop at the cave, get the full-blown story, and come see it for yourself. I just like that thought that potentially there was giants standing right where I'm at. There was a big battle, and you know, one side declared victory pretty much right where we're standing right here cheering and everything. So it's very, very wild thought. But other than that, I really do appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks for watching. We're gonna head back to Vegas for some more awesome content soon, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you outdoors.